you're ready for a new website, head over to anyinspirationsshow.com/zimventures to get started with your new website today. Hello everyone, welcome back to the New Hampshire Business Show. My name is Chris Pastrana, and today we're here with Christine Templeton and Chris Hunt of Templeton Family Organics. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
And who is our little friend?
It's one of our clients.
It's Laverne of Laverne and Shirley.
Okay, cool. So let's get a little history on you guys in the business, and we'll go from there.
Okay, well, we're located in Goffstown. My husband and I and our children operate a pasture-raised poultry and pork operation. We have organic and non-GMO chicken in cuts and whole, and we are also animal welfare approved for our pigs, and we operate our pork operation year-round and chicken only during pasturing season. So all summer long we're doing meat birds, and in the wintertime we raise laying hens. And so last fall, as we were raising our laying hens, I heard about a company called Rent the Chicken, and so I investigated it, and the people were really wonderful, so we started a line of business called Rent the Chicken. And we recruited my next door neighbor here, Chris, to build coops and get in on the action.
Yes, and I thought she was crazy, but they moved in 3 years ago, and they're like family to us.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, we're going to do Rent the Chicken, and I'm thinking she's lost it. And I thought maybe I'd build her a coop for the shows we did, New Hampshire Best and the State Agricultural Show, and which I had fun doing. I'd been in sales, lumber sales my whole life, or building homes, so being at the show was very comfortable. I liked it, had a good time being around people. And then, so I thought I'd build a couple for her, and I think I've on my 25th I'm started. And it takes a lot of work. It's not as easy as I thought it'd be. The coops it's a national franchise, so the coops are designed by an engineer, and it's very well done.
Yeah.
I've had chickens for fun with my children for 10 years, and the coop is just so well designed. It's easy to clean, which is a key. And I always joked it'd be fun to deliver flowers, because I love people and how when they get excited usually for flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, chickens are 10 times more fun. I pull up and the kids are screaming happy, mom and dad are excited, and delivering is more fun than I ever imagined. It's just great.
That's interesting.
It is very interesting.
So how does it work? It sounds like they're renting chickens from you guys. So like kind of walk through the process a little bit, because that's kind of it's pretty interesting.
So we have an option of either 2 hens or 4 hens.
Mm-hmm.
2 hens gives you about a dozen eggs a week.
Okay.
And we bring everything you need. We bring the coop, the feed. We use organic soy-free feed, so families with food issues tolerate the eggs beautifully. And feeders, waters, books, tutorials, egg cartons, treats for the chickens. I mean, anything possible you could think of, we bring. And we bring it all in the spring, and you enjoy fresh eggs every day and enjoying the chickens. And then in the fall, we take it all back so that you don't have to worry about doing the winter work. And if people fall in love with their chickens, we can put a band on their legs, and they can have the exact same chickens back the next
That's pretty
spring.
cool.
Some kids, that makes a big difference too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people can adopt them if they decide they want to become full-time chicken owners. That's no problem. And we're here for support. So if people have questions, they're not in it, alone.
Yeah.
We can hold their hand through the process. So
I think that's what's so great about the program. A lot of people think they may want chickens, but they don't want to spend money on a coop, or they don't know how to build one.
Yeah.
And they don't want the commitment. And this is like a perfect system. The homes I'm delivering them to are fascinating. I mean, they're one home is well over $1 million, and the couple was just empty nesters and just so excited. The woman was like, he never would let me have chickens. But the coop is so well designed. As she says, we bring everything. And I've already gotten like 4 or 5 calls from people like, oh no, one got loose. And there's never a problem. I mean,
Yeah.
And at the show, one of my favorite things was people said, well, what if one of the chickens dies? And it was so funny to me. And so I'd get real serious and say, well, put a lien on your home. And they laugh, and I said, I'm just kidding, it's a chicken. And so it's just been a great thing to be part of. I'm glad Christine got me involved. It came at a good time for me.
Yeah, and that's pretty interesting because you're right, things can happen, chickens die. I'm not sure what their lifespan is, do you know?
Well, they can live for many, many years. They're most productive in the first 2 years.
Okay.
So we hatch these on November 6th, so they're in their prime. So for egg laying, they'll be consistent layers for a couple of years.
Yeah. All right, cool.
And that's why I think we make a good team, is that she's so knowledgeable, and I was just a yard chicken guy. My wife and I didn't want chickens, and my wife did. It turns out I really enjoy them.
Yeah.
But her knowledge is very in-depth, and mine is very surfaced.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun answering the questions. Like one guy called me, and how is a chicken going to give me eggs without a rooster? And I just didn't even know how to answer that question.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's pretty good. So, 'cause I know you had mentioned they're most productive in the first couple of years. So after they're born and ready to lay eggs, like you get like 2-3 years out of laying eggs out of them, or how's it work?
Yeah, we're not really ones to get rid of them when they're less productive.
Yeah.
But you can, but they can live for many, many years.
Yeah.
Post prime production.
Yeah. That's a nice way of putting it.
We actually have one. She was a meat bird, and I raised her on layer feed, and she's the most ginormous bird you've ever seen. Chicken, and she waddles everywhere, but she's many years old, and they said, a meat bird wouldn't live this long, but she was a freedom ranger, and I call her Freedom, and she barely gets up on a roost, but she does, and we just keep her around as a pet. Yeah. Really. She lays eggs, though. She thinks she's a laying hen.
That's funny.
I have a dear friend, he'll be 70 this fall, and he says, what do you do when they stop laying eggs? And the same thing, I said, I'm just going to let them outlive their life here, because I can free range them on my farm. My little house is next to their farm, so the fields are together. And he says, can I have one? I said, well, sure, if you want. And it's this breed, and he takes her everywhere in the car, and takes her to see Santa last Christmas. So
that's funny.
They're more of a pet than people would imagine, than I ever imagined.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really have a lot of personality.
Yeah.
This particular breed is a Buff Orpington, and they're known as the golden retrievers of the chicken world.
Okay.
I mean, once they get to know you, they'll follow you right in the house.
My favorite story of when we were doing the shows is this giant guy came up, and he looked like textbook New Hampshire farmer with the suspenders and the hat. And he stood there and he wouldn't say anything for minutes, and I thought he was going to say something nasty about, why would someone rent chickens? And all he said was, never thought I'd buy bottled water either, and he walked away. And it kind of summed up the whole idea of why someone would rent a chicken.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it's a brilliant idea, and it does give you that, you can learn and like edge into it a little bit, and then you have people to help support you in the process. Because my wife, I have to hide this podcast from her, absolutely wants chickens, like wants them, and if I tell her this is an option, like, you are going to see me again, like, so we'll know how well I did at hiding this if you see me in a few months. And it's a good idea, and you get the eggs, and so I guess that's actually something we can talk about, but the health benefit of natural eggs over like what you get from the store or anything like that.
Yes, they're actually naturally low in cholesterol. People with cholesterol issues are always told to avoid eggs, and the factory farmed chickens are high in cholesterol, but these are actually naturally low. You see golden yolks. People see the yolks and they are always so surprised and amazed at the flavor alone, how different, when they're getting sunshine and grass and being out in their natural state, they're happy, free ranging chickens.
Yeah.
And that's another gift to this program is the coops are designed that you can keep them in there all the time. Like if you have neighbors with dogs, and they can stay all the time. Or what I do is I let them out when I'm out in the yard. And that way they stay safe, and people like, oh, I'll never get them back in the coop. And chickens are smart. They know, like, when nighttime starts to come, they want to be in the coop. So it's never an issue to really get them back in.
Yeah, so you worry about the predators and stuff, and coyotes everywhere.
Hogs, yeah.
So one other thing that I find interesting, we have a lot of kids. We have a big family, and we have had foster children. And one of our foster children, a child said, what are you having for dinner? And I said, oh, we're going to have some spinach. And she's like, oh, the kind that grows in a can, right? Not that stuff you have outside. And I'm like, it doesn't grow in a can, But children are so far removed from their food source.
Yeah.
So this gives them the opportunity to be close to their food source, right in their backyard. Yeah. Grabbing eggs and cooking them right up and seeing where it comes from.
Yeah, and you're right. And I think, as a society, like we've grown so far away from how things were traditionally done that we kind of forget how things were traditionally done. And yeah, so it's interesting to see again this, but you're right. People don't even realize that. Yeah. These things come from a garden. They grow out of the ground, There's a lot of work involved. And then, kind of what you had said, actually, which was a point I was going to ask later on, is the differences in the types of chickens. Because you had mentioned, factory over, pasture, free range, and all that stuff. And, there's different ways of raising animals and vegetables and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the factory farms are going to organic feeds, so they're feeding them organically, which is great. It's a step, better, healthier for the consumer, but they're still indoors in these factory settings, and they've never been outside, and so it's kind of misleading, too, for most consumers. They don't realize, they think they're buying something better for their family, but not necessarily.
Yeah, and without getting political, it's one of those. It's a very tough area to address because how do you feed a huge population traditionally? Because that's why we got into mass production anyway. So it's good to see these types of options, and I like seeing the expansion of like inside gardens and people who are getting a little savvy about this because fresh, healthy food is better. Clearly.
One of our clients I delivered to Sunday, and I believe it was in the Monadnock region, and he's a marketing expert out of Washington, D.C., and they live up here 3-4 months a year in the summer. So they've got one for their 2-year-old, and they were just so excited. And he said, I saw your display at the New Hampshire Best, and he said, years back when I saw bikes being rented in the big cities, if you follow the trend, that was when riding bikes became popular again. He said, when I saw you rent the chicken, he says, there's going to be chickens in every yard across the country. He says, you're going to do real well. Yeah. And I think it's completely healthy. Ties into what you were all just saying. That kids need to know, and it's great for kids to be responsible, to run out and make sure they feed it. And to see a little boy or girl's face pulling an egg out of the little nesting is like, they think it's the greatest thing that ever happened.
Yeah, and they said, from indoor gardens to hanging ones to kind of learning how to plant out of pots and then this type of service, and it's like you said, it's just healthier, and it kind of helps pull you back to how things were, kind of should be. I like that a lot. That's pretty cool. Cool, awesome. So I'm gonna do a quick break here for the sponsors. Everyone hold on just a moment. If you're looking to grow your business through networking, check out Friends of Kevin and New England B2B to see how Kevin Willett and his services can help support you in your business. He does a phenomenal job, and he's a professional like I've never seen before. You need to check him out if that's what you're looking to do. This is the week to watch the New Hampshire Business Show if you are struggling with sales. I'm going to have a little more training on for 6 days, back to back. And we're going to discuss entire aspects of their new training system and how you can get it at a discount. So we've gone over the kind of the chicken side of it. So kind of what led to wanting to do this as a business?
So my husband and I lived in Londonderry, and I always had a vegetable garden, and my vegetable garden kept growing as my family grew. The more kids we had, the bigger space we needed. So we grew up, we grew out, and then ultimately our neighbors started asking us to grow vegetables for them, and we rented farmland nearby, and we had bees at another farm, and we were just kind of running ragged and trying to make sure everything was covered. And my husband watched a movie called Food Inc., if you've seen that. And so he went right out to find, grass-fed beef somewhere, and discovered Steve Normanton's farm in Litchfield, New Hampshire. And he came home and he says, "Well, you're not going to believe this. I applied for a job today." And I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "At a farm." And so he started working for Steve, and he worked with cattle, pigs. Pigs and chickens, and fell in love with it. And so he worked with him for several years, and then we decided let's buy a farm. And so we went. It was crazy. We were so close to paying off our old house, and here we are going into debt, and doing the whole homestead type thing. But it's been so beautiful for us. We are so thrilled to be able to raise our children in this environment, because everyone's comments what a great work ethic my kids have already.
Yes.
So we started off with pigs. My husband ran Steve's pig operation, so we got into breeding and farrowing. We've had several sows, and it's been a learning experience, lots of mistakes and lessons learned, but it's been so much fun. We decided to start growing chickens for ourselves, and again, people asked, "Oh, could you throw in a few for us?" And so that just kept growing, and now we're selling to Monadnock Food Co-op, which has been a fabulous experience because the whole community is around their food source.
Yeah.
And they're very supportive of local farms and organic and non-GMO raised fruits and vegetables and meat. So they've been a very big supporter, and now we are starting to sell for Walden Local Meats, which has been a wonderful experience. We've sold pork to them in the past, and now they're picking up our chicken starting next week, so we're really excited about that. And then we sell at our farm stand and restaurants. We sell pork to the Foundry restaurant in Manchester, and again, they're a certified local restaurant, and they are truly the people that support the local market understand the ups and downs, the seasonality of our products. For instance, we tried to get into Hannaford's, and they said, "Oh, because it's seasonal, it's not going to work for us."
Yeah.
And that's where it's kind of it can be discouraging, because we should be eating seasonally. Our bodies need things at certain times of the year, and crave things. They crave strawberries in the summertime, and that's when you should be eating in June, and not in the wintertime. And the flavor isn't even very good in the winter. But we're really happy when we have a customer that understands our business, what we're trying to do. It always gives us a boost.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very good. Yeah. So probably not going to hold you too much longer because the little friend here is getting anxious.
She wants
As you can
out.
see.
Let's go back
Yeah.
to the farm.
Yeah. So for people who want to reach out, get in touch with you, maybe rent chickens, take part of your farm and all that, how do they get in touch with you?
TempletonFamilyOrganics.com. We're also on Facebook, and you can Google us. Right in Goffstown, New Hampshire.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Had a lot of fun today, and thank you, friend.
Thanks, it was fun being here.
Yeah, definitely. So, thank you everyone for watching. We'll roll out with the last word from our sponsors, and everyone have a good day. If you're in sales, which you are, because you're a business, you know that for every 10 leads you get, you might sell 1 or 2 of them. What if every person or every lead you get was one you could probably sell to? You free up time, you free up a lot of your money. So head over to anybusinessshow.com/funnels to learn how Funnels by Cara can help you.